This is $5,000 worth of, almost $5,000 worth of keyboards that I have here. What up with you guys? You know who it is. It's your boy John Mike back again, and today we have a whole lot to talk about. Namely, all of these keyboards right here. This is going to be my ultimate weighted 88 key MIDI controller head to head. I got all of the top 88 keyboards here. And so, yeah, this I'm going to try to see if I can talk about all of these and do it as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this in basically 6 different categories. Timestamps will be down in the description of the video, also in the chapters, so you can feel free to hop around to the section that makes sense to you. So let's talk about price. And while we talk about price, we're going to also name all of the keyboards that we have in front of us. And I'm going to start from the cheapest all the way up to the most expensive. So first off, the Studiologic SL88. This comes in at $499. Now, this does not come in red. I painted it red because it's my favorite color. I have a whole video on that. Won't talk about that. Description down in the cards. Check that out. But this is $499, followed by the M Audio Hammer 88. It is also $499, followed by the Kurzweil KM88, which is $599. Then followed by the Hammer 88 Pro, clocking in at $799. And then we go to the Arturia Keylab 88, which is $999. And then bringing up the rear is the Komplete Kontrol S88, clocking in at $1,049, boys and girls. So that's the price points on all of these keyboards. So that kind of lets you know we got keyboards basically from $500 all the way up to $1,000. So I'm going to pick a winner in each section, of course, and kind of give my opinion of that. So the winner for this section is the Studiologic SL88 at $499. I think it offers the most value and the most bang for your buck. Now, let's talk about control really quick. Now, as you can see, most of these boards don't have a whole lot of control options. They really capitalize on the keys, but the ones that give you control, they give you the max amount of control. So I'm going to start for the ones that don't have control and work my way up to the ones that have the max amount of control. So the most minimalistic of them all is going to be your Hammer 88. It has literally just one little fader that allows you to just kind of push that up and down. That's all you're getting: pitch bend and my wheel and a couple octave buttons. Very minimalistic. It's not gonna give you a whole lot of control of what you can do with your DAW and all of that stuff like that. Next up is going to be your KM88, giving you a little bit more control out of it. You're gonna get a joystick and you're gonna get a fader and 4 zone buttons followed by your octave button. So you have a little bit more control on the KM88 versus the M Audio Hammer 88. Then we're going to jump in here and I'm going to talk about the SL88 because it gives great control. You have an encoder and it goes into multiple zones that you can use for your control, for your controller, and it's controlling your sounds. You got 3 little buttons, that edit buttons, and you got 3 little joysticks. One is a joystick for a pitch bend and mod wheel. One is like a mod joystick and the other one is like an XY controller. So it's still largely minimalistic, but it gives you some more options that you don't have on the KM and the Hammer 88. Next up in control is going to be the Komplete S88. It gives you 8 knobs, an encoder. It gives you 2 big screens, 8 buttons, transport controls, mute and solo buttons. It gives you a list of all of these little options. You got your octave buttons, you got your pitch bend, my wheel, and you got like a little ribbon kind of little like strip, mod strip that does that or what have you. Next up in control, you got the Hammer 88 Pro, which is going to give you a lot more control. You get the faders, you get 16 pads, like in an Ableton style launch type sequence. You get 8 knobs, you get DAW control, you get modes for every DAW. You get a lot of little clicky little buttons and things that allow you to kind of do this, that, and the other. So you got a little bit more buttons. You got you got pads for beats, and you got launching clips, and you have knobs and faders to give you that. Rounding out control is going to be the Keylab 88 at the top, offering the most control of any of these boards. You got MPC style pads, you got 8 knobs, you got 8 faders, you got 8 buttons, you got transport controls, you got a whole DAW section, you got an encoder, you got modes for every DAW, you got pitch bend, mild wheel, you got an octave button and a transpose button all right there. It's tons of control. Those who are control freaks and you like to have a lot of control over your instruments, over your DAW, over all of those things like that, the Keylab 88 is going to give you the max amount of control. So if I had to pick a winner in this section, it's going to definitely be the Keylab 88. It is definitely the king of control in this area. All right, so let's talk about the key bed. This is the thing that you probably are really concerned about, is the key bed. So 3 of these boards, the Studiologic, the Komplete S88 and the Keylab 88, all have the exact same key bed in it. It is a Fatar key bed. I'll put the name of that key bed on the screen so I don't mess it up while I'm trying to record, but it is the exact same key bed in all 3 of these keyboards. But check this out, the M Audio Hammer 88 Pro and Hammer 88 regular and the KM88 all have the same key bed in them as well. It is the Real Hammer Piano Action RHPA key bed that is in all of these keyboards. So you have 3 with Fatar and 3 with RPHA piano key beds in them. So the question becomes, which one is better? And to answer that question, it depends on what type of player you are. The Fatar key beds are really heavy key beds, meaning that they can be fatiguing, meaning that you can, if you play these for an hour, you're gonna notice it and you're gonna feel it. It's not a feel that a lot of people like, and it's really geared towards piano, the Fatar key beds are. And when you're trying to do other instruments like synth stuff, it's not always the best feel and the best playability. Whereas the RPHA key beds are a little bit less heavy, a little bit lighter to the touch, whole lot less fatiguing, and they work well if you're playing synth stuff and if you're playing piano stuff. So if you want something with a real heavy feel that's going to really give you some real dynamics when it comes to playing piano type stuff, then you want to go with Fatar stuff. But if you're looking for something that's a lighter touch, that's going to be a little bit more playable, then you want to go with something with a RPHA key bed in it. Now, with that said, not all of these key beds are created equal, and it has a lot to do with how they are seated in their particular chassis. So even though these 3 have Fatar and these 3 have the RPHA key beds in them, you know, they're all seated different. For instance, the M Audio Hammer 88 Pro, this is graded action, which means the dynamics is graded across the keys a little bit different than the traditional Hammer 88, which is just, you know, just standard keys. There's no grade on the keys, which means the higher keys are a little bit more dynamic or a little bit less, you know, sensitive or more sensitive on the top end as opposed to on the bottom. These 2 aren't graded. They're just regular, you know, RHPA. So you're pretty much getting the same, feel out of both of these. Whereas this one is going to be a little bit heavier on the bottom or a little bit lighter on the top. When it comes to the Fatar key beds, it's all about how it's seated in the chassis. My favorite feel is the Studiologic and how it kind of seats in here, and followed by the Komplete, and then followed up lastly by the Keylab in the field, because the Keylab is a little bit more clunky than all of them. And I don't know if it has something to do with the fact that this is like a metal chassis on it versus these being in plastic. This is metal, but it just feels a whole lot better. So if I had to choose a winner between the key bed, personally, I would go with the Studiologic because they make Fatar key beds. They are the makers of Fatar. So they're going to have kind of like the best kind of feel when it comes to the key bed or what have you. Now, let's talk about software really quick. So all of these keyboards come with varying types of software. The Studiologic doesn't really come with really any software. And then the KM88, it comes with Keybeds LE and their little, you know, Kurzweil editor. software. And then the M Audio boards, they come with their own set of like Pro Tools First, Ableton Live, MPC Beats. You get a handful of the M Audio stuff that comes with this. That's really, really good stuff. Hybrid, all of those different things like that. When it comes down to the board where you're gonna get the most software, it's gonna come down to your Arturia and your Komplete. The Arturia is going to give you Analog Lab, and you're gonna get like Whirly and Ableton and a handful of little things like that. Whereas Komplete is going to give you the best software package with Komplete Select. Komplete 13 Select, and it gives you like 11,000 sounds. It gives you Machine, you get Ableton, you get a ton of little stuff like that that comes along with it, Massive, and all those things like that. So if I had to pick a winner in terms of software, it's gonna definitely be the Komplete S88. Now when it comes to in and out, all of these pretty much come with the same level of in and out connectivity. You got your sustain pedal switches, inputs, MIDI in and MIDI out, and USB power. Now, the one that's going to win the game in terms of in and out is going to be the Arturia Keylab 88, because it comes with a ton of just in and out, ton of aux input switches, CV gate, CV in, CV out. It's just going to be the clear winner when it comes to what's going to give you the most bang for your buck if you're looking for a lot of connectivity, whether it's with software or external hardware. The Keylab is going to give you the most bang for the buck when it comes to that. So portability, last little stretch that we're going to talk about real quick in terms of weight. Now, I'm not going to talk about all of the different weight classes of them. Some are heavier than the others. The Kurzweil is really heavy. The Arturia is very heavy because it's metal. The Hammer 88 Pro is kind of heavy because it includes aftertouch and all of those little things like that. So the one that is the lightest and the most portable is going to be your Studiologic SL88. It is very small, very compact. As you can see, it gives you 88 keys, gives you everything you kind of need to kind of flow in and out. You can grab this, throw it up under your arm. It's not that heavy. It's going to be really durable because the chassis itself is metal. So it does really, really good in terms of that. It's lightweight, and I'd say it's durable. So if I had to pick one that is going to be your most portable option to let you get in and out, it's going to be your Studiologic SL88 in that class. All right, so that's all of the areas that I wanted to cover with these boards and compare. Now, we got to decide which one is the winner, and I'm basically going to pick the one that's the winner for me. I can't really decide which one is the winner for you because, you know, there are so many different variants. I don't know what type of producer you are. I don't know what kind of keys player you are. I don't know what kind of what you're looking for, what your budget is. So I can't really, you know, decide an ultimate winner for you. You got to make that decision based on the information that I presented. But the winner for me, the clear winner for me, is the Studiologic SL88 Studio, because it lives in the $500 range. It is the cheapest of all of these controllers outside of the M Audio Hammer 88 Pro, but it is the cheapest, and it has the best key bed, and it's minimalistic. It gives me just what I want. It capitalizes on the controls, the joystick, the playability, the FATAR key bed, and it just kind of is out of the way, and it's least expensive. So I love the FATAR key beds. They're my favorite key beds of all of the key beds that are on the market. So to have this in a package that is in the $500 range at the bottom end of the budget is a winner for me, because again, like I stated on the front end, I'm very minimalistic when it comes to my studio. I don't need a whole lot of controls. I just need something that's in my budget and has a good feel, and the Studiologic checks all of those boxes for me. So that's it. That's all I wanted to share with you guys today. I hope this video helps you. I hope it blessed you. I hope it gave you some insight into what you want to spend your hard-earned dollars on. And if you spend your hard-earned dollars, please use the link down below. It helps the channel out, gives me a little bit of kickback. This is $5,000 worth of, almost $5,000 worth of keyboards that I have here. So, you know what I mean? I use this money to help me buy more of these things so I can keep doing reviews on this type stuff. But you can also join this channel and check that out. Check out the membership stuff that goes along with that. But the thing that won't cost you a dime for your your time is. You can hit the like button, you can hit the share button, you can drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about all of this craziness right here. Subscribe, turn on notifications. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. I'm out. Holla at your boy.